Hi boys and girls, here's our read aloud for this week. This is called Attack of the Nerves by Kristen Weir. Take a look at this face. I'm going to go ahead and put that the mood of this text is probably negative. I'm probably going to be learning some things that aren't about happy ideas. Let's look down here. Butterflies in your stomach, worries keeping you awake. Here's how to deal. Now I'm going to think butterflies aren't actually in your stomach. So maybe that's a metaphor. Maybe that's comparing butterflies to a feeling of worry. Kara C is usually cool, calm, and collected, but like everyone, her nerves sometimes get the better of her. In 7th grade, we had to do a play, says the 14-year-old from New York. Sometimes I'd get nervous and start to forget my lines. Michigan teen Kevin P. has been through the same thing. I had to do a speech in front of the class. It feels like 1,000 beady eyes staring at you. Ooh, I see a like. I'm going to double check. It feels like 1,000 beady eyes staring at you. So giving this speech is being compared to 1,000 beady eyes staring at you. So I'm going to mark that this is a simile. Says Kevin, 15, I couldn't concentrate enough to read my notes. Have you ever felt as if you had butterflies fluttering in your stomach? Ooh, I see another simile. So there's a feeling and it's being compared to butterflies fluttering in your stomach. That uneasy feeling is anxiety, and it happens to everyone. It is when you feel worried or uneasy. I'm going to put a connection here. I have felt worried before. She says that happens to everyone, so that seems normal. A little anxiety is a normal human reaction to stress, but sometimes anxiety can spin out of control. Luckily, you can learn to calm those feelings and move on. Internal alarm. Internal, inside. Anxiety is similar to fear. When you are facing danger, your brain gets ready to make a quick decision. Fight or run away. That is called the fight or flight reaction. I'm going to put a star by this. That seems important. The brain tells the body to release adrenaline, a chemical that triggers certain changes in the body. Ooh, I know this word triggers from class. It means to cause something to happen. Your heart beats faster. You breathe more quickly, your muscles tense, and you start to sweat. You might feel a little dizzy or stick to your stomach. I'm going to put a question. Why do people sweat when they are nervous? So that's what that's talking about here. When people are nervous, they sweat. Because it makes sense to me that people sweat when they exercise, but I'm wondering why they do that when they're nervous. All right, next page. There are good reasons for the body's fight or flight reaction, explains William Schreier, a social worker from Danville, California. Anxiety is like an internal alarm. Ooh, I see another like. So I'm going to double check that this isn't a verb, that it's actually comparing, and I see anxiety being compared to an internal alarm. So that's a simile that helps keep you safe. Fear of heights can keep you from falling off a cliff. Feeling nervous before a test can inspire you to study. Anxiety is a good thing, he said. So I'm going to put a star because that seems important because we're talking about being nervous, and it seemed like that was a bad thing from the picture at the front of the text. Still, you can have too much of a good thing. Normal anxiety decreases when the danger is gone, Schrin says, but when worry sticks around, it can get in the way of life. About 13 of every 100 kids ages 9 to 17 have what are known as anxiety disorders. For those kids, Schreier says, anxiety is like a haunting monster. Ooh, I see another like. So anxiety is being compared to a monster. Okay? I'm going to ask the question, why are some people more nervous than others? Okay, so why are some people more nervous? In control. Why are some people more anxious than others? Oh my goodness, my question's about to be answered. Scientists aren't sure. Dang. Some kids might learn nervous behavior from anxious parents. Genetics and brain chemistry might also play a role. I'm going to put a important star by there because this tells me that how kids might become anxious. Anxiety can affect your appetite and make it hard to concentrate. It can also keep you from getting a good night's sleep. Over time, constant stress from anxiety can damage your health, says Elizabeth Carl, a psychologist in Huntington, New York. Uncontrolled anxiety can lead to heart problems, such as stomach disorders, weight gain, and depression. Uncontrolled. I recognize the word part un, so not controlled. Oh, so anxiety that is not controlled can lead to heart problems, stomach disorders, weight gain, and depression. So I'm going to put a star out here because this is all the reasons anxiety is bad. Luckily, there are ways to keep nervousness in check. Next time you feel anxious, try these stay calm strategies. Think positive. More things go right than wrong, but we tend to remember the negative, Carl says. Focusing on good things can help keep nervous thoughts away. I'm going to put a connection. I try to be grateful. I have a gratitude journal that I write in at night. So that might be something that you do, or you might try to think positive, or you might pray when things go wrong. Those are all things that would be a connection to this. Take a deep breath. Learn yoga and other stress management tools such as deep breathing or relaxation exercises. Turn to those techniques to calm yourself when you feel worry creeping in. If you're in my homeroom, you might have been doing the rainbow breath during morning meetings, so that could be a connection there. Find a shoulder to lean on. When you feel anxiety coming on, turn to a trusted friend or family member before tough tests or tryouts. Try talking with friends or teammates. Move your muscles. Exercise releases brain chemicals that can boost your mood and calm you down. Exercise is great for an anxious person, Carl says. Plan ahead. Being prepared can help. If I procrastinate studying for a test, that ends up making me worry more, since I'm not prepared, says Kevin. Planning ahead works outside of school too. Carol was nervous about going to a birthday party where she would only know a few people. She made plans to have a friend introduce her to everyone right away. That way she would get to meet everyone and wouldn't feel like an outsider. They'll know who I am, and I'll know who they are, Kara says. Get your Z's. Kids and teens need at least 9 hours of sleep a night. Too little shut-eye can have an effect on brain function and emotions, which can make anxiety worse. Sleep is so critical, Carl says. Ooh, I'm going to circle critical. I remember we learned that word from one of our other texts. I think it meant important, so I'm going to substitute it in. Critical sleep is so important, Carl says. That sounds correct. So I'm going to put positive. Critical sounds like a positive word there. With practice, you can learn to keep anxiety from taking over. But if worry is affecting your performance at school or in social situations, look to a trusted adult for some help. You may have an anxiety disorder that can be treated with therapy or medication. The good news, Carl shares, is that you can learn to control anxiety. With practice, she says, you can become better at dealing with anxiety and even learn ways to keep yourself from getting overly stressed in the first place. I'm going to ask myself, where can I learn more ways to stay calm? This sounds interesting to me, so I might want to learn more ways to stay calm. Extreme anxiety. Sometimes feelings of worry take over a person's life. When that happens, it is often because of an anxiety disorder. There are several kinds of anxiety disorders. Generalized anxiety disorder causes extreme worry and dread for no obvious reason. Phobias are intense fears of specific things such as spiders, arachnophobia, and open spaces, agoraphobia. One of the most common anxiety disorders among teens is social phobia, which causes extreme anxiety in social situations. Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, causes near-conscious and constant anxious thoughts, such as fear of germs. OCD suffers to try to relieve those thoughts with rituals such as frequent hand washing. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is a type of anxiety that develops after experiencing a terrifying event. Soldiers can return from war with PTSD, for instance. Panic disorder causes sudden attacks of terror and fear of losing control. People having a panic attack may feel tingling in the arms, shortness of breath, and a racing heart. I'm going to ask, what other events can cause PTSD besides just war? So they say terrifying events. I'm wondering what else those could be. All right, that's it for our read aloud for this week.